Avery Edelman is going to welcome us into this evening in person together.
Hello everyone. It's so nice to see new friends, potential new friends here today. So I signed up to welcome you guys to Nidre services, and promptly realized I don't really know what Nidre is. So after a quick Google search, I was shocked to learn that Nidre is not actually a prayer. So we all come together here on the holiest day of the year to say what isn't even a prayer. Instead, Nidre is a legal declaration. We say that any oath we do from this Yom Kippur to next Yom Kippur should be voided. So just last week, I was stressed out writing a paper that was due the next day, and I whispered to myself, "Dear God, if you just let me get an A on this paper, I will never procrastinate again." I like to imagine God listening to my words, sighing and saying, "Avery, we both know that's not true." This legal says that my God was insignificant and I am not held to the standard. According to Kabbalah, when we release our vows, God reciprocates, releasing any harsh judgments he may have had surrounding our actions this past year, and granting us a year filled with happiness. My hope tonight is that everyone here feels welcome in this shared space where we have the opportunity to ask God for forgiveness and a year filled with joy. Thank you.
It's just incredible to be able to welcome each other, to give each other permission to be in space together. So we are going to start out on the top of page 398 with this declaration. We give each other permission to pray with the imperfect ones, the Varian, which is all of us here together. Yeshiva Shamaha Yeshiva Shamata Alta Samaka Velda Saka Anu Matirin Luis Palel, Yinavayane, Bishiva Shamala, Vishiva Shamata, Alda Samaka, Alda Saka Anu Matirim Nispalel Imavayane Vishiva Shamala Vishiva Shamata Alta Samaka Velda Saka Anu Mativi Vispalel Imavayane.
Please rise.
Move on to Nidre, page 300. Nidre, Yasere, Befarame, Bekaname, Befinaye, Bekinase, Shura, Indana, Ernishtabana, Keep her in Ushwasana Shua Ko Nidre Besare Besarame Bekaname Befinuye Bekinu Sayeshua Sintana Adishtvana Udakarina Dedisana Alnashasana Meya Kipurimza Yom Kippurim Haba Aleinu Letova Kani Karat Nabel Page 400. Venice, אשר נשאת למסע ממצרים ואראלה, ושם נאמר, ויאמר אדוני סלחתי כדבריך, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Followed with the worship by Rabbi Ilan.
Shana Tova, everybody. Can everybody in the back hear me? Yeah. Good. Excellent. Shana Tova, everybody. Kamar Fatima Tova. It's an honor to see all of you here tonight, and it's an honor to be with other people in person. A year ago, I led Nidre services in Columbus, Ohio, at Ohio State by myself in a library. So this is a very welcome change. I want to start by saying to all of our students who are here in the room and those who are watching virtually with us that I know it's a hard week. I know there's lots of things going on, especially in the classroom. And I want you to know that we at Emory Hillel are glad that you're here when you are here. And I don't want anyone to feel guilty about when you're not here. We can talk after the holidays about how to make the right or the best possible choice when it comes to which classes to go to and which ones not to go to over the course of the holidays. And I know from the experience of my friends, because I assure you I was not a science person, that missing a week of organic chemistry is very difficult. It makes life unnecessarily hard. But part of our job at Hillel is to help you answer the big questions, or at least figure out what the big questions are, and a big question that you will face in life, that all Jewish people face, especially as we are part of the modern world, is what's more important, or what's more important right now, and how am I going to prioritize? Especially when the things that run our lives, like school or work, come in contact with the things that run our souls and our hearts, which is Jewish life and Jewish practice. So I don't have all the answers, but I want you to know that I don't want anyone to feel guilty, again, about when they are or are not here. We're happy that you're here now. We're happy that hopefully you'll be with us tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening. That shouldn't be the source of your guilt. What's really interesting to me about Yom Kippur is that as much as we say that it is the final day of atonement, it's actually not. Our tradition teaches us that actually we have until Hoshana Rabbah, the end of Sukkot, when the book of life is really sealed. And so we start Yom Kippur and we will leave Yom Kippur 25 hours from now with a great sense of uncertainty. And uncertainty is what I want to talk about tonight. We are a tradition, believe it or not, that is built on uncertainty. And in a time of great uncertainty, when we don't really know what's going to happen in the world, politically, climate, pandemic, all those things, our tradition is helpful, but not as helpful as we really would have hoped it would be. And it starts at the top of the food chain in Jewish life, which is with God. It is unclear exactly who or what God is. And in the story of Moses, when he approaches the burning bush, character God, or God Godself, confirms that. Moses says to God, when I come to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what's his name? What shall I say to them? And God says to Moses, Ehyeh asher Ehyeh. Thus shall you say to the Israelites, Ehyeh sent me to you. Ehyeh is a complicated word to explain, but the best translation that I can give is I am that I am. Ehyeh asher Ehyeh. I am what I will and be. I see Rabbi Jordan nodding. It's really complicated. Books have been written on it. We just don't know. The central tenet of who we are, that we believe in one God, is in and of itself uncertain because we don't really know what God is. We know that God is constant, as the Ibn Ezra, a medieval commentator, explains. He says the meaning of Ehyeh is asher Ehyeh. That is, I always am. That's great. We don't really know what is constant. We know, or the Torah tells us, that the Lord passed before Moses and claimed God is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in kindness and faithfulness, extending kindness to 1,000 generations, forgiving iniquity, transgression, and sin. Yet he does not remit all punishment, but visits the iniquity of parents upon children, and children, and children upon the third and fourth generation. Great. We know some of the attributes of God, but we still don't know what God is. We know many things about our lives, but there is so much that is undetermined, or that we just don't know how things are going to turn out. You hand in a paper and you think you did great, and then you don't. Or you hand in a paper and you think you did terrible, but you do great. That's the best feeling. It's unclear whether God is more akin to Santa Claus. He knows when you've been naughty. He knows when you've been nice. Or more like the Force. I brought an Obi-Wan Kenobi quote here. The Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It is an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together. That sounds a lot like God also. Then there's my favorite definition of God, given to us by Alan Rickman of blessed memory in the movie Dogma, which most of you were too young to really know, but it was a great movie by Kevin Smith. It came out in the late 90s. A cult classic. I encourage you to see it. And he plays a character called the Metatron. The Metatron, in the Jewish Kabbalistic tradition, is the voice of God, right? And so the Metatron says the following: human beings have neither the oral nor the psychological capacity to withstand the awesome power of God's true voice. Were you to hear it, your mind would cave in and your heart would explode within your chest. We went through 5 atoms before we figured that out. Dogma's a comedy also. Again, uncertainty. A favorite Jewish children's singer of mine, his name is Jason Meskis. He's from Southern California. He has a song called If God Is a Giraffe. He writes, I don't know who or what God is. It's cool with me anyway. I'm just glad I get to play in the grass and that the sun came out today. So if there's going to be uncertainty about God, there is probably going to be uncertainty about pretty much everything else, or at least more than one answer to many of our questions about how we should act in the world and what we are expected to do and why we're here. I'll give you a couple of examples. A few years ago, a colleague of mine, Rabbi Josh Bolton at Brown Hillel, and at the time he was at the University of Pennsylvania, he started talking about the question, is it okay to punch an anti-Semite in the face? Right? You meet someone, they're clearly an anti-Semite, they make an anti-Semitic comment, can you punch them in the face? There's not just one answer. We're left to figure it out. We're left with that uncertainty about what we should really do. So on the one hand, in Pirkei Avot teaches, Ben Zoma says, who is the mighty one? He who overpowers his inclination. It says, slowness to anger is better than a mighty person and the ruler of his spirit than the conqueror of a city. Right? So what Proverbs is saying, what Pirkei Avot is saying, is that, no, you really shouldn't punch the anti-Semite in the face. You got to hold it in, be zen, and turn the other cheek. On the other hand, the Torah relates us a number of stories where someone acted physically in defense of themselves or the Jewish people in general. So we go back to Moses when he discovers really who he is, and he goes out to work among the Israelites in the fields and in the brick, building the pyramids, as it were. Torah writes the following: sometime after that, when Moses had grown up, he went out to his kinfolk and witnessed their labors. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his kinsmen. He turned this way, and he turned that way, and seeing no one about, he struck the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. Right? So Moses confronted oppression physically. Right? And later on in Bamidbar, we hear of the story of the Israelites against the Midianites. The Midianites attacked the Israelites, and the Torah says that we're commanded to assail the Midianites, destroy them essentially. Why? Because they tried to destroy us. On this basis, the sages teach, one who comes to kill you, rise up and kill him. Again, general uncertainty about what we really should do. Good options, but nothing concrete telling us you must do this, you must do that. And so that leads me to, I think, what can help us make the decision and get through the uncertainty. which is to have a sense of meaning and purpose. And let the meaning that you seek and the purpose that you have guide you through the process of making the important decisions in life, where you could go either way, where there is no certain path. One of my favorite pieces of poetry in the liturgy, which comes up mainly in Yom Kippur, is a song, Ki anu amecha, right? For we are your people. I don't really know much else in the world, but I know that I'm God's people. I know that I am God's child and God is my father, so on and so forth. It works through all sorts of analogies. We are your congregation, you are our portion. We are your inheritance, you are our destiny. We are your flock, you are our shepherd. We are your vineyard, you are our keeper, so on and so forth. Right? There's a sense of certainty. We know who we are. And no amount of uncertainty can take that away from us. So we have identity. And now I'll add to it purpose, mission, meaning. I'm going to quote you from the mission statement of Soul Cycle. Who here is Soul Cycles? No Soul Cycle. Pelotons. Oh boy. Am I the only Pelotoner in the room? One person. Okay. What if you join the cult of Peloton or Soul Cycle or CrossFit, whatever have you? There's a really strong sense of belonging and purpose in that work. And Soul Cycle writes about it. Our mission is to bring souls to people. Our one-of-a-kind rock star instructors guide riders to an inspirational, meditative fitness experience that's designed to benefit the body, mind, and soul. Set in the dark, candlelit room to high-energy music, our riders move in unison as a pack to the beat and follow the signature choreography of our instructors. By the way, riding in unison as a pack, that's the peloton. Right? Peloton was a formation of either Greek or Roman soldiers, I forget which one. In any case, the experience is tribal, it's primal, it's fun. We call it a cardio party. Our riders say it's changing their lives. With every pedal stroke, our minds clear and we connect with our true and best selves. Through this shared soul experience, our riders develop an unshakable bond with one another. Friendships are made, relationships are built. In that dark room, our riders share a soul experience. We laugh, we cry, we grow, and we do it together as a community. So we don't know why everyone's there. We don't know whether Soul Cycle is going to do what they say it's going to do, but it gives us a little bit of purpose and meaning moving forward, again, while surrounded by uncertainty. And that's sort of the mission, that's the lesson that I hope you leave here tonight with. That no matter how much uncertainty there is in the world, even as great as the uncertainty of what God is or isn't, and I'm happy to have that drop-down argument with anybody, right? I know I'm pretty firm in what I believe, and I went to rabbinical school just to find out, make sure it was okay. No matter what the uncertainty is, if we ground ourselves in meaning, we ground ourselves in a sense of purpose, and we ground ourselves in community, we will be able to forge a path forward. We'll be able to make decisions and not be crippled by the uncertainty because we have a set of principles, a set of beliefs that guide us along the way. Again, not giving us the answers, but giving us a sense of direction and possibility. I don't know what the next number of months will bring anywhere, whether it's here at Emory or in your homes, in your communities. Who knows what direction this pandemic will take and what other forces in the world will act to make our lives better or more difficult. So there's great uncertainty in that sense. But what I do know is that community, meaning, and purpose are constant. If you know who you are, if you know where you belong, you can move forward. And that's what I hope you'll all walk away with tonight as we enter Yom Kippur, the day off, and the uncertainty that it brings. Tomorrow will be who shall live, who shall die, who by plague, who by tornado, natural disaster, whatever. Great uncertainty. But I hope you'll join me in a sense of meaning, purpose, and community to move forward and push the uncertainty aside. Shana Tova, we'll continue with the Mari service on page 408.
And then we're going to continue on page 418, leading into the silent Amida, the silent of reflection. I really encourage you to take the spaciousness and don't feel confined to the words on the page, but flip through, think to yourself, notice where your thoughts are going, this gift of uninterrupted time. I will just add one thought from the Shema we just read. Right? This collective language of the second paragraph. If you listen to my God's commandments, everything's going to be good, and if not, the land won't yield its fruit. Doesn't seem quite fair or accurate to reality, but the key here is this collective language, right? Feels very striking in this moment of intense climate change and political turmoil, right? Because planet Earth actually doesn't particularly care how much I, Alan Lipson, personally emit in CO2 emissions, or whether Alan Lipson compost. It's about all of us. It's about our responsibility to each other, to the injustices, the systemic institutions that we are all responsible and accountable for. So I encourage you to think about not just our personal process, but the communities around us and what we all need to work on and attempt for together. So pick up on page 418, leading into the Nidre. Continue with the Chasi Kaddish, followed by the Amida on page 422. Please rise in body or in spirit. Iskada, Shemei Rabba, Shelmadi Raperse, Benlich Maflese, Bechayechad, V'yamechad, Nefchaye, B'chol Beis Yisrael, B'gad Nagrib, Imru, Amen. Yesh Me'Rabba Mevara, Le'olam Le'amaya, Yisparach, V'ishtabach, V'ishpar, V'ishama, V'isnaseh, V'ishadar, V'isala, V'isalav, Shmekachah, V'ritler, V'e'ela, Mikol Berkwasa, B'shirasa, Tush Berkwasa, B'nefamasa, Zamiran B'yama, B'imeru, Amen. your thoughts wander and go at your own pace. And we're going to start with this second half of the section, the Sleaford service, which starts on page 446. So the article will be open. It's custom to sound, but by all means, if you feel like you need to take the rest, always your help comes first. I'll just say, as we move into this second portion of the service, as Avery and Rabbi Ilan so beautifully pointed out, Nidre is this gesture of almost complete admission of surrender, right? It's out of our hands. There's only so much we can know. We're in this position of uncertainty. And so what are we left with? Well, let's first bring Ya'ala inu yenu, let our afflictions rise up. Ya'ala ankatinu, let our cries rise up. And Ya'ala nakatinu, let our sighs rise up. All of these nonverbal expressions, that emotion without words. And there's a beautiful teaching from the Nitze Shalom, Hasidic thinker who narrowly survived the Holocaust. He writes that each person in our own inner lives comes to a point of exile, of depth, of sadness, such that we can't even find the words to articulate the predicament that we're in. We're just rendered totally speechless. And God knows I've had those times over the past year. And he says at the time, God gives us the gift of being able to groan. Strange thing. That we can actually make this pre-verbal, this expression without words, to admit, hey, we're running on empty. Like, we've got nothing left. And that itself, doing that together in community, is a redemptive act. It can save us. And so as we bring our voices into this next part of the service, I ask you all to bring the sounds, the laughter and the cries and the cheers and the sighs of this past year. Just bring them into this room, into the music, whether it's singing along, humming, or just being present, because we need to be redeemed. We need to make it out of those depths, and we're only going to do it right here together. So we start off with page 446. If you have the packets, it is on the top of the first page, transliterated for those of you who use We continue with page 454, Elmel, the shade, the 13 attributes of God that Rabbi Lan mentioned earlier. Elmel, Yoshe, Basi Rachmi, Miseg Bakasir, Mufad, Nasanam, Hare Solanu, Lamar Shlosh Esrei, Zachar Lanu Ayam, Rishosh Esrei, Kamasha Dachtelanu, Mikarem, Kamasha Kasev, Tayir Adonai Banan, Disyatzev Imasham, Tikra B'Shem Adonai, Vayavor Adonai Al-Panav, Vayikra Top of page 458. Kolinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chus Rachem, Alinu, V'kabel Rachamim Ratzon, Aslifi Laseinu, Kolinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chus Rachem, Alinu, V'kabel Rachamim Ratzon, Aslifi Laseinu, Hashivenu Adonai Lecha v'nashiva Kadesh Aminu Kekadem Hashivenu Adonai Lecha v'nashiva Kadesh Aminu Kekadem Al Tashifenu Me'al Panecha Ruch Kodecha Al Tikach Mimeni Al Tashifenu Me'al Panecha Ruch Kodecha Mimeni Al Tashifenu Le'sikna Yifas Ta'afeinu, Al-Tazbeinu, Al-Tashifeinu, Al-Tazbeinu, Pick up with Hamacha, page 460. Aleinu, v'layavoseinu, slach lanu, mechalanu, kapelanu, kirifanu, amecha, v'yatza
Ve'ata Adonenu Anu Kehalecha Ve'ata Ke'elokeinu Anu Nafasecha Ve'ata Goralenu Anu Tzomnecha Ve'ata Ro'einu Anu Chachmecha Ve'ata Nidrenu Anu Kehulatecha Ve'ata Yoteinu Anu Reitzecha Ve'ata Dodenu Anu Sigulatecha Ve'ata Geraveinu Anu Amecha Ve'ata Malkeinu Anu Mamirecha Ve'ata Mamireinu Anu Azei Panim V'Tara V'Panim Anu Kshegora V'Tara V'Payim Anu Le'ama V'Tam Le'Racham Anu Yemenu Tzal Over V'Tahush Nosecha L'Yizanu. We're headed into a Shamnu, page 462. For many people, is the custom to strike their chest for each of the words in the Shamnu prayer, as well as the words Al Fate, these sins, which follow. Eloheinu, Elohei Avosenu, Tavel Lepenecha, Tfilasenu, Val Tizalem, Nismin Hasinu, She'in Anachnu Azei Panim Moshe Oref, Lomar Lepenecha, Adonai Eloheinu V'lo Avosenu, Tzadik Anachnu, V'lo Chatanu, Avo Anachnu, Chatanu.
page 466. Al-Shafet Shefatani Lefanecha B'Mitzaleh Al-Shafet Shefatani Lefanecha B'Mitui Satayim Al-Shafet Shefatani Okay, we're closing in on the end of the service here. This last song, Misha Ana, one of my favorites growing up. This idea that God answers us, Huyahanenu, just like in times past. And regardless of the historical truth here, the fact is our ancestors have been in these times of crisis, of uncertainty. In 1348, during the Black Death, we have Rabbeinu Nisim saying, there's been nothing like this ever before, and we're going to have to make it through the help of God. All of which is to say, we're not alone in this. We have each other in this room. We have the living and the dead. And so we're going to come together in this last moment for this beautiful tune of Misha Ana. This version does not include the woman of Jewish history, but makes some great contributions. So you'll find it in the packet, which I actually forgot if I could grab someone's copy very quickly. Yes, it is on the second page in transliteration, first page in transliteration, and the second page in Hebrew. So I'll just teach it very quickly. The only words you have to answer are Hu Ya'anenu, answer us, or you can sing along with the tune once again. It goes like this. That's it, one more time. Shana Kalva Miseya, Huya Anenu, Mishana, Lagabi Ishmael, B'midbar Beersheba,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Lerivka, B'Levali Drosh,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Leyaakov, Bebezel,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, L'Rachel Leah, B'Padan Narav,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, L'Tamar Shiotia, L'Isareh,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, L'Yosef, B'Besa Asirim,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, L'Shifra Uvua, B'Mitzrayim,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Yocheved Miriam, Al-Satzayel,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Lavasenu, Ayamsu,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Lemoshe, Bachoreh,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Le'aharon, Lemachta,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Le'Pinchas, Le'Kumamitachaida,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Le'Yeshua, Bal Gilgal,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, L'Tevara, Behar Tabor,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Le'Ruth, Grita Le'Garen,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Lechana, Beshila,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Leshmuel, B'Mitzvah,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, David Shlomo B'nai, B'Yerushalayim,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Le'Eliyahu, Behar Carmel,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Le'Elisha, Be'Yericho,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Le'Yonah, B'Mei Hadagan,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Le'Chizkiyahu, Bethaya,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Hanania, Mishael, Azariah, Yitzhak, Shamesh,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Daniel, Bekofa Arias,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Mordechai, Esther, Shushan, Havira,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, Ezra, Bagala,
Huya Anenu,
Mishana, L'chol tzadikim v'chasidim, v'atminim hayesharim,
Huya Anenu.
Pick up 472, Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Himani Melech El Ata.
אבינו מלכנו חצבנו בתשובה שלמה לפניך, אבינו מלכנו קדש עלינו שמותיך, אבינו מלכנו שלח
Malkeinu, Zachreinu b'Yisrael,
אבינו מלכנו זכרנו בזרועך
Avinu Malkeinu, كاسبين بسفر خيم
أبينا ما كانوا كاتبين بسفر جولة
أبينا
بيشوع
ما كانوا كاسبين بسفر كلا بيشوع أبينا ما كانوا كاسبين بسفر فرنسا بالبلكلا أبينا ما كانوا كاسبين بسفر زفيا أبينا ما كانوا كاسبين بسفر صيفا مثلا
أبينا ما
ما
كانوا
كانوا عم تسمعوا
أبينا ما كانوا شماكوا بخصوص راتنا أبينا ما كانوا كبابرة من براتنا وتفلاتنا أبينا ما كانوا خمولا من بأعلى أبينا ما كانوا سلم عن إلا لما أعلم أبينا ما كانوا خمولا من كائن بعد ما أسلم أسأل من gracious and answer us.
On page 476 for Kedishalet.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rana Baruch Lebanon. Amen.
Aleinu Malko Yisrael, Amen. Verse 58. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adonako, L'Aziz L'Olam Yaseh Bereshit, Shalom Asanim K'gei Ha'asad, Elas Amanim Mishpachot Adama, Shalom Sam Chokinu Kahem, الشمائم بأسرائيل
יקבלו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינה סזה, וגם במרומים, ובלמינו אינו, אמס מלכנו אפס רסו, גם כסף בסורסו, ודסיים והשבסו, אלבבך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת, עינת. אוקיי, נקבל אותנו. ככסף בסורסך, אדוני ימלך לעולם ועד ואמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמע
You may be seated. We turn to page 482. Yom Kippur is a time where we take Yom Kippur as an occasion to take time to remember those who are no longer with us, whether they left us this year or in years past, friends, family, people in our lives who left a mark on us, who left a mark on who we are. If you observed a yard site recently, or if you have someone that you're thinking of particularly this evening, I invite you to join me for the Mourner's Kaddish, page 482, and stand. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayerecho beit Yisrael, v'agalav yizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah korah v'olam ben ha'ayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, Yidadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei kucha brichu. Leila, Leila, min kol brechata v'shirata, ushbechata v'nechemata, damiran v'yama v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlam harav min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom v'ramav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Shkoff Allen for leading us in Kol Nidre and purposely vote tonight. Just a couple of really quick announcements. Tomorrow morning we'll be back here in Cannon Chapel at 9:30 in the morning. We hope that you'll take some time to join us either before, during, or after class. Tonight, immediately after services here, Alan will be teaching back at Hillel. For those who want to keep the Yom Kippur fire going, what's the topic tonight?
Human vulnerability and Jewish tradition.
Makes me very happy. Tomorrow night we'll be back at Hillel at 6 o'clock for Mincha and Nila, and then break the fast meal will be to go tomorrow night at exactly 8:19 p.m. We have Shabbat on Friday. We have Sukkot stuff coming up at the end of next week and afterwards. I invite you to check out all the things that we're doing on Hive. And again, as I said earlier, and I'll repeat again, come when you can, stay as long as you can. We are happy that you'll be here. And if you need the links to watch us virtually, perhaps during class, but don't tell your professors I said that, you can go on YouTube and check out the Emory Hillel channel and find us there, or a synagogue near to you. Just want to acknowledge a couple of other people in the room tonight. Rabbi Jordan Bronick, who's the Jewish chaplain here in the Office of Spiritual and Religious Life, which is based out of Cannon Chapel, and Elliot Karp, CEO of Hillels in Georgia. We're happy that you're both here with us tonight. And Yom Kippur, what can I say? Shall we conclude?
Yes. Yishal, page 486.
Great.
chesed kemi palo, nasim rashava kirishasa, yisaf lekit yamim meshifenu, liftas lepakeket Yeshua. Mesin Ephraim Baruch Pasel Baruch Adonai Sheti Lasel Mesin Ephraim Baruch Pasel Baruch Adonai Sheti Lasel. This one, join me at Hillels. It's going to be a blast. We'll be there starting in about 15 or 20 minutes.